Alright, Overwatch players, let's go ahead and hop in and see what the brand new update has. So these are going to be the buffs and the nerfs for all of the classes. So starting right off, there is a new tank role passive where they have 25% damage reduction against critical headshot damage. And then on top of that, the knockback resistance increased from 30% to 50%, so they get booped around a little bit less. Now I'm curious to know how this works because Echo actually has like bonus damage when a target is under 50% HP, so I'm not sure how that's going to register, especially when Mauga gets like crit damage when he like has the target on fire. I'm not sure how those things are going to interact, but let's go ahead and get started with the Junker Queen. So the newer changes with Junker Queen, she's able to use her commanding shout while swinging her axe or during her ultimate, which would make it more responsive. And on top of that, the cooldown got changed by 2 seconds. So some of these you kind of have to get a feel for it. Now I'll be honest, as far as being able to do more things while you have an ability active, I think that is definitely a nicer change. Now I'm curious to see like at what point in the ultimate can we actually do the shout. Oh, you could just do it like basically whatever. Okay, so it's basically, it doesn't even have you know, a window where you could maybe not have it. So for the most part, I usually activate it when it's off cooldown, except for maybe if we're doing a very specific strat where we're gonna like speed boost it and shout or whatever. But overall, I would say the character has been already pretty good in the lower ranks to stomp, but at the high rank, I really felt like Junker Queen was like really hard to play. Like past Masters, like I got Junker Queen to Masters, but it was really hard to push GM with Junker Queen, never did it. So maybe now with this newer buff, is it gonna make her like super powerful? I don't know. I don't think that she's going to become like an absolute must pick. It's not like OP or anything. But next up, they have a change with Sigma. So what was Sigma's change over here? So checking out Sigma, he's actually got a change with Gravitic Flux. No longer requires line of sight to the center for this effect. So what this means is more likely that you can just, you know, hit a target that would be behind something. So like, I'm trying to find like a good example here. So if the target was maybe on the other side of this wall or like barely touching like the side that like they're kind of like out of line of sight, you can get more targets with it, but it's kind of hard to visually show this in the training ground without like some sort of very specific enemy to kind of register it on. So let's see, I don't know if we can maybe do it over here, but without requiring again line of sight to the center of it, there needs to be like a wall in front. I don't know if we can really do it like with this. Let's see. Oh, okay, there we go. So again, that one's kind of hard to like visually see. You maybe have to go into like third person in the camera mode, but basically it's a small little buff for him. And then Wrecking Ball, this does 10 more damage, and the knockout duration got increased. This is a very small one. This is like a number change. Kind of hard to visually show the numbers without just like playing the character, but I don't really feel like it matters that much. This is just a number one. The explosion knockback did get changed by double, so that one is a more visual one, and I kind of want to show you guys, you know, most of these. I don't play Wrecking Ball, but I'm guessing the small amount of damage boost, it can help, right? Tracer might melt too fast and just get hit by 2 mines, so let's go ahead and throw up another target that's not a tank. We'll go with Bastion because he just has the most HP, so he can maybe take more of the shots. Okay. Okay, so maybe this is a bigger change because if you get hit into one, it can boop you into hitting double, and the damage got increased by a decent amount actually, especially if you're hitting double of these, because if you think about it, 130 twice is already over 250, but that means even if they get healed by a small amount, it's kind of nice. So I would say it didn't really change that much. I know Junkrat has a pretty big change. So the Grav Surge for Zarya, moving to Zarya, the Gravitational Surge, the radius got increased, so it's bigger, and the duration got increased, so lasting a little bit longer with Zarya's ult. I would say that's kind of good, because sometimes you get those Zarya players that they just pop ult, and they think they can kill the whole team, but there's no follow-up, maybe everyone's dead, and this could help out Zarya a little bit with being able to confirm more kills. So that's... I mean, even with landing most of the right clicks, it's still not enough to confirm on a 200 with 0 charge. So 0 charge Zarya is still probably not going to be as, you know, able to just instantly delete a target. Now, Junkrat's change is actually a huge change. So the damage got increased from 120 to 125. This is actually a very massive change because I actually, when I put my tier list out, I put Junkrat like as unplayable. And the reason why is because you had to land 3 direct hits to actually confirm a target, or 2 directs and like a small like explosion, so to speak. And the reason why it matters is because on any of the 250 HP targets, I can now 2-tap them. Now, previously, you could not do that, and that's pretty big when you are just spamming in like an area. So that Junkrat change is quite nice. Now, it would be nice to see, let me see if we can do a, like, what does the mine do again? So if I go and hit him once right there, right, and throw the mine, that still doesn't get the kill. So, and that was like a big thing. If Junkrat would do that and he would just like insta-kill you, he can't do that still, but he can still land to the direct hits. So definitely still a buff though. It's actually massive for the basic attack versus the mine. But it would have been interesting to see if they just buffed the mine damage by whatever enough to get the kill. Anyways, the Echo got the ultimate gain multiplier while transform increased from 4 to 4.5. Kind of depends on the skill that you are copying as well, but as far as Echo goes, Echo's always been a character where it doesn't really see too much play. There's like very niche players that do play it, and they're usually pretty good. It's usually at the higher ranks of the game, but it's just going to be helping out the lower ranked players for sure. But at the end of the day, I feel like this character is pretty niche, but it's a nice buff, and I don't think it's going to make it so everyone's going to be like, oh man, I gotta go play Echo now. Well, you do get more ultimates, right? I don't know if you're going to be able to like get multiple ults, because this was a thing before where you could usually get like 2 Echo ults. To see, you can't even if you start the animation, it's still pretty hard. This is like where the target is holding still. So are you going to get double ults? It's going to be very, very rough. I don't know if that's going to change. Maybe in some circumstances you could. But Hanzo, the speed, oh, actually we just saw that. So the speed of the Dragon Strike got increased, so buff to Hanzo here. But unfortunately, since he can't one-shot, a lot of people just aren't interested in playing him. And I don't blame him, because like, you know, that's what made him good, right? That's what made him a sniper. He can one-shot like Tracer, he can one-shot, let's say, a Widowmaker, but against most of the roster, if you can't one-shot, and I feel like that's the most important thing with a sniper. You can one-shot the 200s, but as far as the 250s, that's going to be a no. Even though it's easier to land your shots, you know, that's what made Hanzo good, is being able to get like those early picks. But if there was a Moira, I've already made a video talking about like Hanzo Moira was kind of like a nice combo here. Next up though, they changed some stuff with Mirror Watch. Okay, so one of the biggest changes that I actually have to show, oh wait, there's a brig change. Now, Rally resets Bash's cooldown upon activation. Oh, so you can double Bash now with Brig. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So we'll go ahead and grab the ultimate, so we'll see how fast this can actually combo. So let's say I bash someone, do my ultimate, and bash them again. Okay, I mean, it doesn't like insta them. Brig used to have like a lot of combos where you can like absolutely destroy them. When bash, I think it did like 50 damage before and it like stunned, and you could like insta some characters. But this is actually a pretty big change that I do need to go over. So talking about the reduction of headshot damage, and there should be an update here with armor as well. I don't know if it's like mentioned the way armor works. It might just be somewhere else. I want to go over the major hero. Oh, here it is. Armor health has been reverted to provide a flat damage reduction of 5 per projectile, a maximum of 50% damage reduction. Auto combat health regeneration has changed from 20 health to 10 health per second plus 5 of maximum health. So what this means is it's a pretty big buff to the tanks, and let's go ahead and check out how that works in a second here. But specifically, let's go ahead and just take Reinhardt, because this is a character that everyone is familiar with. So it's going to be less headshot damage, and on top of that, you're going to be able to get less insta'd, so to speak. So like if we take a character like Roadhog, which has no armor, like we can basically 2-clip him, right? But on a character like Reinhardt, like, yeah, I understand Hog has a heal and stuff like that, but against a character like Reinhardt, right? Like, look how much this takes now. Let's see if we can... Oh, we can still 2-clip him. I mean, honestly, this is like ridiculously hard to do anyways, but it's supposed to make him a lot stronger, especially in the body shots. How many clips is it going to take? Let's go ahead and see. So that's a quite a big amount. Okay, so anyways, the other thing that we can take a look at is the health regen. Let's go ahead and take like Roadhog, for example. We're gonna have to swap to it. I want to say, does Roadhog have the most health? I'm not gonna talk about armor, but I mean, runs at 550. So what's that? Oh, you know what? I think the things are changed in this mode because it's different. But basically, what this means is out of health. Let's use Doomfist, because there's a lot of times where, let's say, Doomfist will, you know, go kind of behind something and kind of wait to pounce on the enemy. So let's go ahead and take some damage. It's going to take a second because these bots don't do very much damage. But the fact that it's going to actually let us heal for quite a bigger amount can be quite nice. Now, this matters the more HP the target has, because it's a percent of the target's HP. So this is going to be overall a buff to the tanks when they are out of combat, but I think this actually helps other characters like Reinhardt more, where there is an area where they're just going to be like, you know, consistently taking no damage for a duration, perhaps if they like throw up their shield, right? So now we have this regen that's going to be a lot more effective. So the characters that I would say get the most benefit off of this, again, are going to be characters that have the ability to not take damage for a while. So let's say D.Va wants to drain all of her matrix to start kicking in that regen. and maybe get some heals. So that would be like technically it heals everyone, right? But like characters like Diva would get a nice buff for that. Orisa, I don't think the duration lasts long enough, but Ramattra can throw up the shield. So Diva, Ramattra, Reinhardt, Sigma. I mean, if you play Zarya, I guess you could double bubble. So you could start popping in the regen if that is something that you want to do. Let me see if I can you? I think you can actually hold it down and just pop the other one like immediately after it ends. So let's say I have a bubble on us, and if I just hold it down, it'll automatically. I'm holding it down right now. Oh, you know what? I think you have to hit the button a second time. So this is actually kind of like interesting fun facts too. So let's say I pop the bubble and I'm gonna hit the bubble again. Now I already have a bubble, so it won't like activate until I think the bubble is actually expired. Let me double check on this, because that could actually be a pretty big strategy for, again, specifically Zarya. So again, if I pop it over here and if I hold it down, it's gonna just activate it again. That way, like, there is very little in between time where I would unless, of course, like it pops instantly and there's like some sort of AoE dot on the ground, like a torb or something. I mean, you could get some sort of benefit off the thing. Overall, like, it's a small amount, but like sometimes the difference between winning and losing the game is one fight, and if you have to take one more damage, the ability to, like, you know, prevent yourself from taking damage, like even 20 HP sometimes is a difference between winning and losing a game, especially on like a tank, right? Like, let's say we are really low on Reinhardt and we just, you know, we're just backing up, we're shielding, and we start regenning. The amount that we're gaining is pretty big. But anyways, that's gonna go wrap it up. Here's my thoughts on the most recent update. Sorry this took like an extra day to come out, actually a day or two. I think it came out on the 14th, right? I've been playing a lot of Diablo. I've been playing a lot of that Marvel Rivals game, but overall, I would say these changes are probably gonna make some people more interested in playing tank by a very small amount. But it's not like, oh, there's a crazy tank buff, absolutely go ham on it. I would rather them just come out of the game, made like Junker Queen super overpowered just for the rest of the season, or just like something to make people like, whoa, dude, I cannot wait to play. Now, the one character out of everything that actually wins the most is absolute Junkrat. Junkrat gets the biggest W out of all the characters with this most recent patch. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the patch. You guys can let me know yours down below. But overall, Junkrat got the biggest win. But this isn't going to make people hop back into Overwatch into the game just because of this tank change, at least from first glance. We'll have to play it. I'll get you guys some gameplay very soon. So if you're new here, subscribe to the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, though.